Today I'm going to talk about the format of our children's choir programs. If I were to ask any kid in America if they would be willing to go to school for an hour and a half every weekend, first of all, they would tell me you're crazy, and it would probably start a children's revolt across the country. But that's the same thing that we ask many of our kids to do every week when they come to children's choir. A couple years ago, I walked into one of our children's choir rehearsals, and I noticed that the kids were sitting in a normal school classroom with a teacher at the front. They were sitting in normal school desks, and they were expected to sit very quietly and not move when they were not singing. So obviously, our children's choir program was not growing at this point, and in fact, it was noticeably shrinking. No surprise there. So as soon as I realized what was going on, we made a big change in the way that we structured our children's choir program. It has been very, very successful for us, and so I wanted to share this model with you, and maybe it can help you in your children's choir program as well. So here's how we do it. Rather than having the kids sit in one classroom with one teacher, we actually have our kids move from station to station to station throughout the evening. Our rehearsals are in the evenings, and we have a different teacher for every station, and the stations are about 20 to 30 minutes long, depending on what the time frame is of your rehearsal. And it's very important that you do have a different teacher for each station. And the reasons for this is, first of all, it gives the kids a break from having the same teacher for everything, and that makes it feel a little bit like school. The second reason is that your teachers only have one lesson plan to prepare, and then they just teach that several times through the evening as a different group of kids comes in, and that helps them not feel like they're the director that has to do everything. And then the third reason is that it gives you an automatic built-in substitute teacher list. If you know that you're going to be on vacation in a couple weeks, you can either have one of the other station leaders fill in for your station, or you can just schedule it so that your station does not meet that week. So what do we teach in our stations? Before you decide what you want to teach in each one of your stations, you need to decide what the goal and the purpose is for your children's choir program. For our Praise Kids, we have a twofold purpose. The first one is that we want to teach our kids and give them the tools to be able to worship and to lead in worship. And then the second goal that we have is that this is actually the feeder program for our adult worship ministry. And so once you've decided what your goal is, then it makes it very easy for you to decide what you want to put in your stations. Here's some of the stations that we have. First of all, we have our singing station, which meets every week. And this is where the kids learn their songs and their music that they will perform. Another station that we have is called Motion Commotion, and that's just a fun way of saying this is our choreography station, where the kids go and they learn the movement and the sign language and the choreography to the song that they learned in their singing station. We also have used the Nuts and Bolts station, where the kids learn the basics of music theory in a very fun way. We also have the Craft station. A lot of children learn the best through tactile means, and so they're able to learn the truth in their music through their hands by painting or putting together a special project or a craft. One of the favorite stations that the kids like is the Orchestra Spotlight station. This is where we have a guest instrumentalist from our orchestra come and basically showcase their instrument. They'll usually play a piece for the kids, and then there will be a question-answer time, and then the kids will get to sometimes even experiment and try out that instrument on their own. But the kids love this station, and it's been a great asset for us. The last station that we do is a very important one, and it's our story station. Not only do we want our kids to learn their songs, but we want them to know the biblical stories and the biblical truths behind those songs. And this is the station that we teach those truths. So you might say, well, Heather, how do you fit all of these stations into one rehearsal? You must have like a 4 or 5 hour rehearsal. Well, the answer to that is that we don't fit them all into one rehearsal. We usually only have three stations per rehearsal. The first one is our singing station, and that meets every single week. The rest of the stations are just on a rotation calendar. Some of them meet every other week, some of them meet once a month. Our orchestra spotlight usually only meets once every 6 or 7 weeks, so that's how we do it. Lastly, something that's very important to remember is that custom fit these stations to your own church ministry. Maybe you don't have an orchestra, but you have a killer handbell choir. Well, you might want to make handbells one of the stations for your kids, where they can learn the basics for that now, so that when they get older, they can just step into your adult handbell choir. Or maybe you want to have a drama station, or a praise team station, where they learn how to actually lead worship while they're a child. So don't be afraid to tweak and change things as you go along. We're into our second or third year of this model for our Praise Kids program, and we're constantly adjusting and tweaking our schedule, and there's nothing wrong with that. So don't feel like you've done it wrong if you find that, maybe the schedule isn't perfect for you, for your ministry. Keep tweaking it until it turns out right. I think that you'll find that the benefits of this model are great. Your kids will never leave feeling like they went to school, and they will love, love, love going to children's choir, and will be so excited to come back the next week.